And the man who police say shot and killed a former NFL running back in a possible road rage incident in Louisiana has been released from custody. 28-year-old Joe McKnight was shot and killed yesterday in a suburb of New Orleans. Jefferson Parish Sheriff Newell Normand spoke about the case a short time ago.
Mr. Gasser did not stand over Mr. McKnight and fire shots into him. The three casings were located within the vehicle. Mr. Gasser was in his vehicle when he fired 3 shots. So that did not happen. That witness account, and we talked to that witness, if it's the same one that I'm talking about, is factually incorrect. It did not happen. There is no video that we've been able to recover at this point in time, so that does not exist either. We have no witness account of an apology being made by Mr. McKnight to Mr. Gasser. So that did not occur.
We spoke to our own Omar Villafranca by phone outside the sheriff's office.
Still do not have a definitive answer. He kind of hinted, but it wasn't definitive, that there was some sort of there's defense statutes that are allowed in the state, kind of hinting at some sort of stand your ground law, but he wouldn't go into specifics, since earlier he said if anything has to do with the investigation, he's not going to say. I asked him if Mr. Gasser had a concealed handgun license, which is legal here in the state of Louisiana. And he said, we do not know yet. But that question was asked since he mentioned there was some sort of, defensive statutes that were allowed for somebody fearing for their life. Exactly why he was released, we still do not know that particular answer. But we did learn a little bit about the circumstances. According to police, they say that Joe McKnight was shot 3 times with a .40 caliber handgun, and that Gasser was not standing over McKnight. He, in fact, shot McKnight from his car. They said they found the shell casings of the semi-automatic .40 caliber inside the vehicle, which would lead them to believe that they came out of the gun and landed in the vehicle, so he shot from inside the car. When I asked him if this is being investigated as a possible hate crime, he said there's nothing that they have from witnesses that would lead them to believe that. But there's a lot of people here in the community who are upset. I spoke to Gaylor Spiller, who's the president-elect of the West Jefferson Parish NAACP chapter here, and she said if Mr. Gasser was black, that she feels he would be still in jail, but he was released. He is not.
He also mentioned, the sheriff did, that they have denied requests to shut down certain highways. Can you explain to us? I'm assuming these were for protests.
When we were outside, we were outside for the NAACP press conference, and they were talking about possible protests. And we were summoned inside to get in place for the press conference. We're about to step out of the sheriff's office to see if there are protesters. There was word that there might be some sort of protest going on. Not sure if they were trying to shut down. The parish office here is literally right in front of a highway. So if there is going to be anything of a protest, and if they were asking for that kind of, to be able to shut down the highway, the sheriff, as you heard the press conference, said no, absolutely not.
And Omar, at the end of this, the sheriff made a point that the man who raised McKnight also worked at one point for the sheriff's department. What was the connection he was trying to imply there?
I think he was saying that, one, he said that, this is something that the shooter, and the admitted shooter, Gasser, did not know. And I think he was also kind of saying that, that law enforcement is not brushing this, under the carpet. This is something that, there are people here who worked at the sheriff's office who knew Joe McKnight. And that might be a name to just, it sounds like a regular name, but here in New Orleans and in the Louisiana area, in 2006, he was in high school the #1 ranked running back in the country. And in football crazy Louisiana, he was a name. People knew who Joe McKnight was. Not only that, he went to the University of Southern California. So this was a kid who earned it and made it. So New Orleans is a place where a lot of gifted athletes. He was one of the storied names and had played in the NFL, so people knew who he was. He was a big story. So it's interesting to see that the sheriff was talking about that.